Why did I choose to wear skirts and dresses only? It has been a journey of many years, over a decade. And I'm sure there are many who are wondering, why would you choose this lifestyle? Or if you've already chosen this for yourself, maybe you're looking for like-minded women in order to receive encouragement. In this video, I will share my top 3 reasons for why I made the switch to skirts and dresses only, plus a 4th bonus reason. After that, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on 2 extremes of clothing that I believe Christian women who are dressing in skirts and dresses only should avoid. My name is Jessica, and welcome to my biblical womanhood channel, Truth at Home, where I aim to connect the truth of God's Word to our daily home life. So let's start with reason number 1. This is very easy. Modesty. And I know there's a lot of debate about what modesty even means. Many people will say, well, modesty is more of a heart thing, and if our heart is in the right place, then we're fine. What our clothes are doesn't really matter. And I would agree and disagree with that statement. I would agree with the part that says our hearts matter, definitely. Jesus said that whatever is in your heart is going to show on the outside. Either you have a good heart and you're going to bear fruit, or you have bad stuff in your heart and there's going to be thorns. So what's in your heart matters, but it's also going to show on the outside. So if our heart's right, we will be dressing modestly. We will care about modesty. But even if we think, oh, my heart's fine, but if we're having an attitude of, well, I don't really care about how my choices affect others, then I can guarantee you our heart is not in the right place. So really quick here, let's look at the meaning of modesty. I'm going to read 1 Timothy 2:9-10 to you. And it's here where we see women are told to be modest. They are specifically told, so this isn't something that Christians just made up. It's actually here in the Bible. It says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. There's that word. With shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided, meaning braided hair, or woven hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. So here we are given the specific command for Christian women to dress modestly. Let's look at the word modest first, then we'll look at the other 2 words. In the Greek, the word modest in this verse is kosmios. And I'm looking at the Strong's Concordance, and it says it's from it's G2887. And it has the meaning of orderly, decorous, of good behavior, modest. And it comes from G2889, which is the word cosmos, which means orderly arrangement, decoration, by implication, the world. So when we look at this meaning of modesty, we see that it means much more than we are accustomed to thinking of it as meaning. It means having an orderly arrangement and being decorous, or in other words, appropriate. Now, many people might say at this point, okay, well, so then where's all that importance about covering up your body? Here it just says to have an orderly arrangement. Well, I would like to say that if you're going to have an orderly arrangement of your clothing, you're certainly not going to be showing your cleavage, because that's not an orderly or decorous or appropriate arrangement. It isn't very orderly to be wearing clothing that when you squat down, your behind shows. Orderly has that sense of carefully putting an outfit together, thinking about it as you're going through that process. Is this appropriate? Is this arranged well so that people aren't going to see inappropriate things when I lean over or squat down or do whatever? And this orderliness in our outer appearance should reflect an orderliness in our inner world, our inner self. There should be orderliness within us, that we are attempting to please God and we care about His ways, who is an orderly God. He is a God of order and not of disorder. So our outer appearance should be a reflection of His character, because we as Christians follow Him and represent Him. The next word in this verse is shamefacedness. This simply means and it's another Greek word, a separate Greek word, which you can look up if you'd like. And it means to be able to blush, to be aware of something that is inappropriate and to want to stay away from that. And I suggest that many women, even Christian women, have lost this ability today because we are flowing in the current of the world. And many women will say, well, it makes me comfortable, or that's what everybody's wearing. Well, wait a minute. Where's your ability to blush? Where's your ability to be embarrassed about something, showing something that would be inappropriate? So the Bible specifically says that we need to dress with shamefacedness. And later on it says with sobriety. And that means being sober-minded. Another Greek word. There's 3 Greek words here. I chose to focus on the word modest because that's the main issue we're talking about, but you are free to look up these other 2. So being sober means to be thinking carefully about your choices. You're not just doing whatever. You're not being careless, but you're being careful about it. And in the end, all of these things, dressing in a modest way that shows shamefacedness and sobriety, and avoiding ostentatious, fancy shows, such as with braided hair, golden pearls, excessive shows of vanity. This is the way that a godly woman, a woman who professes godliness, should behave. It's not merely about the way she dresses, it's about the way she behaves. And your outer appearance, your clothing, is part of the way you behave, right? Just like when I speak, part of the way I speak is the tone of voice I use and the expressions you see on my face. It all comes together. So you can't really separate the clothing you wear from your behavior, and you can't separate those 2 things from your heart. It really all goes together. So that's the first and main reason why I chose to make the switch to skirts and dresses only. The second reason is femininity. I mean, most men, if you haven't noticed, they would never be seen in a dress or a skirt. Unless we're talking about kilts from Scotland. But I really don't think those little skirts they wear nowadays is what they used to wear a long time ago. And if you're going to say to me, well, in the old days, all people wore robes. Nice. But even in the old days when all people wore robes, there was still a difference between the type of clothing a man would wear and the type of clothing a woman would wear. There was enough of a difference to where they could see, no, that's a man. Even if they couldn't see his face, yes, that's a man, that's a woman. There was enough of a difference. Many men, especially those who were farmers or fishermen, they would be accustomed, at least during their work, to wear shorter tunics that enabled them to do their work. Whereas women were accustomed to wearing much longer clothing. And the fit of the clothing would have been slightly different too, to fit the form of their bodies, which are different. So anyways, let's leave the kilts and the robes behind. Let's talk about nowadays. In our society, men would not wear dresses and skirts. They wear pants, they wear shorts, right? But not dresses and skirts. So when I, as a woman, choose to wear a dress or a skirt, I am making a statement, a strong statement, that I am a feminine woman and that I enjoy being a feminine woman. Now, of course, I'm speaking of modest skirts and dresses. I'm not talking about skimpy ones, tight ones, revealing ones. I'm talking about modest ones. So a verse that is from the Bible that addresses this issue is Deuteronomy 22 verse 5, where it says, "The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination," meaning detestable, "unto the Lord thy God." So I have heard that this simply means women shouldn't use men's weapons. And maybe that's part of the meaning of this, but then it goes on to say, and men shouldn't wear women's clothing. So I'm thinking, well, clothing is a part of this somehow, and I'm not saying that it doesn't have anything to do with women using men's weapons. I'm saying that clothing is also a part of it. And I don't want us to discount that and say, oh, the clothing issue isn't in this verse, because it is. And God is saying men need to be like men and women need to be like women. If they try to do things differently, the Bible says that God is not pleased with that. So we're supposed to maintain those distinctions. And for me as a woman, wearing modest clothing that is feminine, such as skirts and dresses, helps me to uphold that distinction. All right, reason number 3 for why I have chosen to make the switch to dresses and skirts. And that is being a light. You guys, we live in a dark world, a fallen world. And the flow of the culture is like a muddy river. And I don't know if you've had this experience, but here in Arizona, we have many flash floods during the monsoon season. And you can have water that is only a foot deep, and you think, oh, no problem, I can get through that in my car or on my bike or whatever. But the truth is that even water that is only a foot deep can still pull you away with it to where you don't want to go. And that's like the culture. We look down at the culture and we think, no big deal. I can handle this. I'm bigger than this. I'm stronger than this. But the truth is, we are in the culture, and the culture is dragging us away. It's pulling us away. And if we don't make a strong effort to remove ourselves from those negative influences, like we're supposed to be in the world, but not of it, right? We have to remove ourselves from the negative influences, the negative way of living, the negative way of thinking, right? And it takes a strong effort, just like it takes a strong effort to get yourself through a flash flood. It looks like it's going to be easy, but it's not. And removing yourself from the culture, from the way that the culture is behaving, and choosing to be different from that takes a really strong effort. Jesus says in Matthew 5:14-16, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick. And it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." Now, I want to say here that when Jesus speaks of good works, of course, he's speaking of more than clothing. We all know this. He's speaking of everything that the Christian life involves. However, can we really honestly say, oh, clothing's not a part of that? The way we dress, our appearance, oh, that's not a part of that. I don't think we can honestly say that. I think that we need to focus on the whole. We're not going to be overly focused on just clothing, just my outer appearance. Of course not. We're going to focus on the whole, but part of the whole is our appearance. And that is a work. He says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So works are certainly a part of the Christian life, not to earn salvation, but as part of being a light in this world, as part of following Jesus. And he says he wants our light to be seen, our good works to be seen. They're not supposed to be hidden. And if we are dressing exactly the same way as the world, if we're acting the same way as them, talking the same way as them, where's the good works that are supposed to be seen? We're supposed to stand out. We're supposed to be different, like a light set on a hill. So one way out of many, one way to be a light in this dark world is to have a different appearance. And one way of doing that is wearing modest skirts and dresses that tend to set you apart in appearance, visibly, from other people who are just following fashion, following, what the designers decided for them when they created those clothes. And now we all go to the store and we all buy them, like little sheep who are just following what everybody else is doing, not really thinking about, for what purpose did they design this clothing or this style? Like, what were they trying to do when they designed this? We just go and we just buy it, right? But we can choose to be more thoughtful in our choices and say, no, I'm not going to just buy what the designers designed for me at the store. I'm not just going to wear what everybody else is wearing. I'm going to choose to be different. I'm going to choose to make a conscious effort to dress modestly and femininely and to be set apart. At least, we don't need to be wackos, but to be set apart in a way that's visibly apparent, to show that I'm following Jesus. I'm not following the world. So those are my 3 reasons, but I have a bonus reason for you. And that is just that I like skirts and dresses. They are much more comfortable during pregnancy. They give me so much more freedom of movement, and I just love them. I can do most things in a skirt or a dress. I have even been up on the roof in a skirt. I was very careful, yes, as I was going up and down the ladder, very careful to not trip over it, but I've worn a skirt while up on the roof. So I've worn a skirt while riding a bike, while painting, while gardening, doing yard work, while doing many things. It's just something you learn how to do, but I like it because I'm comfortable in it. So here at the end, I'm going to address really quick 2 extremes that Christians should avoid. Now, those who have decided to dress in skirts and dresses only, there are 2 directions that I've noticed people can sometimes tend to go. One is the direction of, well, I just want to be humble and I want to represent the servant's heart of Christ. And on the other end, we have those who say, well, I want to represent the beauty of Christ and his royalty. And both of those things are fine and they're good and they're noble. But sometimes we can get a little extreme with it to where we want to be humble and be a servant so much that we are dressing in clothes that are frumpy and ugly. On the other hand, we can say, well, I want to represent the beauty and royalty of Christ, and we go to an extreme with that to where now we're being flashy, ostentatious, and vain. Too much makeup, too much jewelry, too much time spent on our hair. So I want to suggest that as Christian women, there should be a balance between the 2 things, that we can merge the 2 things. We can be humble and have a servant's heart and be ready to serve, and at the same time represent the beauty and the servanthood, or the beauty and the royalty of Christ. And I think we're going to have a type of clothing that's going to be kind of in the middle. It's not going to be frumpy and ugly, but it's not going to be real fancy or ostentatious at the same time. It's going to probably be a little in the middle. And I feel like in the middle is most of the time a good place to be in many of our choices, that balanced place. So those are my 3 top reasons why I chose to make the switch to skirts and dresses only, plus my bonus 4th reason, and 2 extremes that I think that Christians need to avoid in their clothing so that we can stay balanced. So now, what do you think? I would like to keep the conversation centered on the Bible, not just our feelings or opinions, but what do you think the Bible is really saying? And how have you chosen to apply the Bible to your life? What are your tips and what's your encouragement? Because those who have chosen to wear skirts and dresses only can sometimes feel alone. And we're not here to judge other people. We just want to support each other in living in this way for Christ. That's not to say that other Christians who choose to dress differently, that they aren't Christians. That's to say that we have simply chosen to make this specific choice for ourselves. So we're not here to put other people down. We're not here to judge them. We just want to support each other in this choice and encourage each other, because this really is a set apart kind of way of living, and it can be a lonely path. So let's keep the comments positive and encouraging, please. If you would like to know more, I have lots of videos about modesty well, I shouldn't say lots, but I have a few videos about modesty that I have made. And I will link to the playlist in the description box so that you can choose which video you would like to watch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.